In this video, we're going to focus on simplifying exponents. But let's go over some basic properties. What is x to the fourth multiplied by x to the fifth? What is that equal to? Whenever you multiply by a common base, you need to add the exponents. 4 plus 5 is 9. X to the fourth is basically multiplying 4 x variables together. And x to the fifth is equivalent to multiplying 5 x variables together. So in total, you're multiplying 9 x variables together. And so that's why it's equal to x to the ninth. Now what about division? Let's say if you divide by a common base, what should you do with the exponents? You need to subtract. X to the 7 divided by x to the 3, we need to subtract 7 by 3, and that's going to be x to the fourth. X to the 7 is equivalent to 7 x variables multiplied to each other, and x cubed is simply x times x times x. So we can cancel 3 x variables, which will leave behind 4 x variables on top. And so that's the answer. Here's another one. What is x to the third raised to the fourth power? What should we do whenever we raise one exponent to another? In a situation like this, you need to multiply. It's going to be 3 times 4, which is 12. So x to the third raised to the fourth power means that you're multiplying 4 x cubed values. And each x cubed is basically 3 x variables multiplied to each other. So if you count all the x variables, what we have is a total of 12. And so that's why it's equal to x to the 12th. Now what about x raised to the 0 power? What is that equal to? Anything raised to the 0 power is 1. So 4 to the 0 is 1. Now what about x raised to the negative 3? What should we do if we have negative exponents? If you have a negative exponent, all you could do is take the variable, move it to the bottom. When you do that, the negative 3 will become positive 3. And so it's 1 over x cubed. Likewise, let's say if you have 1 divided by x raised to the negative 4. You can move the x variable to the top, and the exponent will change sign. So it's going to be x to the positive 4 over 1, or simply x raised to the fourth power. Now here's a question for you. What is the value of negative 3 squared? What do you think that's equal to? Now what about negative 3 squared within parentheses? Negative 3 squared is basically negative 3 times negative 3. We have 2 of them. So this is equal to positive 9. Now what we have here is 1 negative and 2 3's. This 2 does not apply to the negative sign, so we only have 1 negative sign. So this is negative, and then 3 times 3 is 9, so the whole answer is negative 9. So just keep in mind the difference between the two. You can confirm this in the calculator. If you type in negative 3 squared just the way you see it like this, you should get negative 9. But if you type it like this in your calculator, it should give you positive 9. Go ahead and simplify these problems. Simplify the following expressions. So let's say this is the first one. Here's the next one. X cubed raised to the negative 5. And also x to the 7th power divided by x to the 12th. Go ahead and work on these examples. So when multiplying common bases, you need to add the exponents. 4 plus negative 9 is negative 5. And x raised to the negative 5 is equivalent to 1 over x to the 5th. So if you get any negative exponents, make it positive. Now here we have one exponent raised to another, so we need to multiply. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. X to the negative 15 is 1 over x to the positive 15. So this is the final answer for that problem. Now for the last one, we need to subtract. We need to take the top number and subtract it by the bottom number. 7 minus 12 is negative 5. And this is the same as 1 over x to the 5. Now let's talk about that example. x to the 7th means that we have 7 x variables. X to the 12th means that we have a total of 12 x variables multiplied to each other. So we can cancel all 7 x variables on top and 7 on the bottom. And notice that we have 5 x variables left on the bottom. And that's why it's 1 over x to the 5. What is the value of 3x squared raised to the 3rd power? Go ahead and simplify this expression. So 3 is the same as 3 to the 1st. Whenever you raise one exponent to another, you need to multiply. But we have 2 exponents here, so we need to distribute the 3 to the 1 and to the 2. So 3 times 1 is 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. So this is 3 to the 3rd times x to the 6th. So what's 3 to the 3rd? 3 to the 3rd is 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. So the final answer is 27 times x raised to the 6th power. Try this one. Negative 2. Okay, that doesn't look like a 2. Let's do that again. Negative 2x cubed y to the 4th raised to the 2nd power. Feel free to pause the video and work on that example. So this is raised to the 1st power, and if we multiply by 2, we're going to have negative 2 to the 2nd power. And then 3 times 2 is 6, so we're going to have x to the 6th, and 4 times 2 is 8. So this is going to be y to the 8. Negative 2 squared, that's basically negative 2 times negative 2. That's equal to positive 4. So the answer is 4x to the 6th, y raised to the 8th power. What is the value of 5x cubed multiplied by 4x to the 7th power? So what should we do in this example? So first, we need to multiply 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. And then we need to multiply x cubed times x to the 7th, in which case we need to add. 3 plus 7 is 10. So this is simply 20 x to the 10th. So try this example. 7 x to the 6th times 5 x to the 4th, and also 4x cubed y squared times 7 x to the negative 4th y to the 3rd. So in the first example, we need to multiply 7 by 5. 7 times 5 is 35. And then we got to multiply x to the 6th times x to the 4th. 6 plus 4 is 10. So it's 35 x to the 10. Now in the next example, we got to multiply 4 by 7, which is 28. And then x cubed times x to the negative 4th. So we got to add 3 plus negative 4, which is negative 1. And then finally, we got to multiply y squared times y cubed. 2 plus 3 is 5. So it's y to the 5th power. Now we need to get rid of the negative exponent. So let's move the x variable to the bottom. So it's 28 y to the 5th divided by x. And so that's the answer. What is negative 2 x cubed y raised to the 0 power? What is that equal to? Anything raised to the 0 power, keep in mind it's 1. Now what about negative 4x to the 0 power? What is that equal to? You need to realize that this is negative 4 times x raised to the 0 power. This 0 only applies to x. So this portion, highlighted in red, that's equal to 1. So it's negative 4 times 1, and that's negative 4. So anything that's affected by the 0 exponent will become a 1. Anything outside of that is unaffected. Try this problem. What is 24 x to the 7th y to the 3rd divided by 8x to the 4th y to the negative 12? So in this case, we need to divide. 24 divided by 8 is 3. X to the 7th divided by x to the 4th is x cubed. 7 minus 4 is 3. And for the y variables, we need to subtract. 3 minus negative 12 is the same as 3 plus 12. So this becomes y to the 15th. And so that's the answer. What is 35 x cubed y to the 5th divided by 63 x to the negative 4th y to the 7th squared? What is that equal to? So we could distribute the 2, or we could simplify first. We could divide first or distribute the exponent. Let's divide first. 35 is basically 5 times 7. And 63 is 9 times 7. Now, x to the third divided by x to the negative 4. That's going to be 3 minus negative 4, which is 3 plus 4, and that's 7. So we're going to have x to the 7 on top. And then we have 5 minus 7, which is negative 2. It's negative 2 on top, but if we bring it to the bottom, it's going to be positive 2 on the bottom. So let's go ahead and do that. And this is still raised to the second power. Now the last thing we could do is cancel the 7. Let's get rid of this stuff. So we have 5x to the 7th divided by 9 y squared raised to the second power. 5 squared is 25, and x to the 7th raised to the second power is going to be x to the 14. 7 times 2 is 14. 9 squared is 81, and 2 times 2 is 4. So this should be the final answer.